If you are a one, you cannot expect to lead twos, threes, four, fives. If you're a one, you can only lead zeros. It doesn't make you a bad person. You just need to focus on zeros. The problem is you are one trying to lead threes. But when you become the right person and you become a 10, you become a leader. Why? Because 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, they follow you. So you're having problems. And I said to my wife, I was like, wow, we've been married 31 years. And as I became a man, my wife started doing things that she wouldn't do when I was a boy. And my professors started doing things they wouldn't do when I was a boy. And businesses start doing things for me that they wouldn't do when I was a boy. But when I became a man. And so for those of you who, I don't want you to think leadership is you're over somebody. I don't want you to think leadership is a title, because it's not. Leadership is you become. So I want to say it one more time. We're going to get started. Keith said to me the other day, I was speaking somewhere and he was like, a marriage thing. And he was like, man, I can't wait to get married. I was like, whoa, relax. He's like, I'm trying to find love. I was like, you can't find love. Like, it's nowhere. Like, if you could find it, I would tell you where it is. But you can't find it. I said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to spend time becoming a man. And somewhere in this world, she's becoming a woman. I don't know when it's going to happen, but somewhere, you're going to be somewhere doing man stuff. And she's going to be in the same room doing woman stuff. Today is about becoming.
Are you ready? I can't hear y'all. I said, are you ready? Welcome to the world premiere, Word on the Streets.
Ladies and gentlemen, finally, a place that speaks to the real you. Out there, the noise is loud, distractions at every turn, competition for your attention coming from every direction. That's why this platform chose battle-tested hosts, voices shaped by life, sharpened by truth, and unafraid to tell it exactly how it is. These men bring you the real, sometimes painful, but always unapologetic lived experience. Now, our hosts. Larry Xtradonaire Moton, host of Welcome to the Conversation, personal development for the soul. A man of purpose who lives it with passion, because you only live once, and when you do it right, once is enough. And then, the amazing Keith Fletcher, host of The Blind Truth, a survivor of stage 4 cancer, a motivator who reminds his worldwide audience every single day, gotta get your mind right. These two, this dynamite duo, are the heartbeat, the backbone, and the bold voices behind the world premiere, Word on the Streets. So pull up, strap in, and let's ride.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, one. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show. Friends, we are so excited. I'm here live with the amazing Mr. Keith Fletcher and myself. Friends, we've had a long week, and now we're back. Thank y'all for driving up and tuning in. Ladiana, we see you. Selena, we see you. And we just love that both of you all supporting us as you do. Thank y'all for rocking with us, for being with us. My brother, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. How you doing? Yeah, thanks, Selena and Ladiana, for rocking with us and everyone else, man. Thank y'all. I'm doing great, you're on there. I'm doing great. Got me a little tea. Gotta get a little, I think it's sunflower tea. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, yeah, what's going on?
Oh, that sounds good, man.
Yeah, it's got me learning about, I got one kidney, so I found out that helps your kidney, flush your kidney. So I'm starting to drink that daily. You get healthy, trying to stay on top of that. But anyway, yeah.
Speaking of that, friends, if this is your first time driving up, you stumble upon this platform, and you don't know why you're here, I'm going to tell you why you're here, friends. There are no accidents in the universe. You're here because you belong to be here tonight. You're here because there's something for you tonight, friends, and we're excited to have you here. So if it is your first time, friends, in case you don't know, the man you just heard speak, he's nationally known. He's live on Facebook 2 and 3 times a week. He have a platform show on YouTube. He called it The Blind Truth. And if you don't know the truth, you have to get your mind right. His famous motto, you got to get your mind right. Now, if you put all that in one pot, friends, you will come out with the amazing Keith Fletcher. And the reason why we preference the word amazing before his name, the brother survived stage 4 cancer. And he's here tonight with me. And we're going to deliver a message for you all that we believe will resonate with everybody who tune in tonight. We're talking about leadership. But before we do, show some love for the amazing Keith Fletcher. Give it up, y'all. Give it up, give it up, give it up. Yeah. So, my brother, man, a little info for everybody out there listening. Fletcher and I, we had a conversation maybe 2 or 3 days ago, and we started talking about this topic that we're bringing to you tonight. So we're just going to open it up and start talking about leadership, what it means, what it is, what it isn't, all of that stuff. We certainly hope y'all ready for the ride. So make sure, get buckle up, get strapped in, because we're about to drive, friends. Fletcher, won't you start us off, my brother?
Nah, you started us off right already. Where Eric Thomas talking about being a leader, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, you like that, bro?
I like that. I like that. I like what he did, man. I like you started off with that. And then, telling the young man to wait, you know what I'm saying, give yourself the time to grow. I started early. I was married, got married at a young age, but we were talking about being a leader, becoming a leader. That word become, and that's what we were talking about that day. And that's what I liked about the thing you said, becoming. We want to rush into things. I got young men, young boys. You got young boys. We both got some young men that we raising. And saying that word about leadership, being a leader, not being a follower. We just say it so easy, but as well as it takes more than just saying it. You know what I'm saying? You need to become that. Like Eric Thomas, you ever heard his story? He was homeless. His dad went in his life. His mom was leading him, and he was acting as, like you say, as a boy. You know what I'm saying? He was doing, like in the Bible, he was acting like a child. And when he became older and got grown, his life started working, he started putting them childish things away. You know what I'm saying? Them feelings and emotions as a child, and started thinking as a man. So me, when I went through life, I never did understand that, you hear leadership, becoming a leader, don't be a follower. If you really dissect it, I didn't really realize until years later in my life. You know what I'm saying? I got to tell everyone, being with my grandfather, having my father, having my uncles, other men that came in my life, in the community, in church, all these things, people that was in my life, men showing how to be a leader. I think, my opinion, you need to see it. You need to see those things, men taking leadership, taking ownership, you know what I'm saying? Solving problems. So leadership, man, I think a lot of that's environment, seeing it. I think that's the beginning. I know we ain't gonna go deep, but for me, as I look back now, at my age I am now, I look back at it, you know what I'm saying? I was wrong a lot of leaders. I was wrong not just men, but women too that would lead certain things too. In church, watching how the community worked in church, people taking ownership, being volunteer. So a lot of leadership things that I saw, I didn't even know was working on me. My uncles, I used to complain about how hard they were. My great uncles, how they used to make us do work hard and stuff. And man, they were teaching leadership then, you know what I'm saying? And I'll go deep into it later on. But what made me realize it was when I got away from my family and got away around other people, that's what it started realizing. I didn't know it was leadership, but I knew I was set apart from some other people. So that was with me.
What I really appreciate about the amazing Keith Fletcher is that he have a way of telling story trends that take your mind back to a certain period of time. And that's a gift, brother. And please embrace that gift and really enhance that gift, because I was set to start off in another direction. But because I listened to what you had to say, I'm now having to turn from where I was preset to start my conversation with, and to pick up where you left off. Is that Keith's grandfather, which is my dad, demonstrated leadership, and while we were young, we didn't know what it was we were watching. We just imitated.
Yeah.
And I can communicate it now better than I could then, because I didn't know I didn't have the vocabulary that I have now to explain what I'm gonna try to explain to you in this moment here.
Understanding. You didn't have to
The
understand.
understanding, yeah, you feel me, my brother?
I feel what you're saying. Yeah, go ahead, speak. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember I remember when I was working and going through a divorce, and had lost my transportation, but no one knew it, because I would walk to my job, walk from my job, and I did it months in and month out, and never complain about it. I'm not saying it to boast of myself. I'm saying it because I saw that before I did that. I saw it. Somebody need to hear and get that. See, it's what you said, Fletcher. Sometimes, oftentimes, we have to see leadership in order to imitate leadership.
Yeah.
So therefore, now, brother, the question shifts and become this one now. And we got to eat on this, brother. What if you didn't see it? What
That's
if it wasn't there? Talk to me. Pick that up, bro.
but again, and I'm not. I know I want to take it. I done seen it when it wasn't there, but like again, it's always there, community there. But if you don't recognize it, you see what I'm saying? You don't recognize and understand what's happening at that time when you don't know no better. When you know better, you do better. So we seen it on a continuous basis. If we saw it here and there, we could see it. But again, it was always in the community too. We didn't just see it from my grandfather, your dad. We saw it from your brothers, your older brothers, the older in the community and church. We saw other people doing it. You know what I'm saying? So now I'd have been around when there's nothing there. Like I lived in Texas, and when I was in, my mom used to say this to me. He said, "Boy, you're not built like that." I used to say, "What you mean? You take the fence. I'm built like." And when I went to Texas and lived, and I remember getting around people that don't have that. Don't have that. I didn't understand what it was. I didn't understand it was a mindset, a poverty, but it was leadership. Nobody wanted to take the reins and lead, and everybody was like being a victim, and everybody was like that crab in the bucket. That's what I saw at a young age, and I was like, it was amazing, like, wow. It was like just, and the thing about it, I think still to the day, the thing about it, I wanted to fix it, like, you know what I'm saying? I have a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, why don't you do this? And my friends, I used to have friends that, their mom was at work, or they would, hey, why don't you do this, man? Why don't you pick up? I was trying to fix them and show the way what I had learned, you know what I'm saying? But I was young still, but that's what I saw. It was like no one took the reins and say, hey, let's do this, let's do that. You know what I'm saying? With a way. And it was so natural to me. Again, I didn't know it was leadership, but it was like it was a way. You know what I'm saying? It was built in me a way, but I didn't know what it was, Jordan. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know, what it was. I wasn't easy influenced either. Like if I did something, I wasn't doing it because somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I knew better. Now I'm not doing that. But the word leadership never came. You know what I'm saying? To me, it was just a way that I took it. But as it got older, it started going different places, and I'm saying it took me a while to understand that I was a leader. It took me a while to see, what was different with me. Because other people used to come to me and they would take me out the group, and I didn't see it. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I was a bad kid. I was told a bad kid, and I thought they just saw me being bad, but they saw something in me to say it's more than that than what you think it is. They seen something in me that I didn't see in myself. So it take, like what I'm saying is, just if people around you, like I tell my kids, opportunity is always around you. It's a quote in the Bible. I don't know what, when he said he was waiting for Jesus to come. It's a story, a parable. The lady was waiting for Jesus. Jesus coming to me. He's coming to the house today. And they was waiting, and somebody ring the doorbell. It was a homeless man. And he was like, "Hey, I ain't got time for you. No, I'm waiting for Jesus. Jesus coming to put off." Then somebody else came and I ain't waiting. So she started crying. Jesus, you didn't come the next. Why didn't you come? And he said, I came 3 times. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, no, you ain't come out with it. The homeless man, this man. It's never what you see. You see what I'm saying? You couldn't see what it is. So I think a lot of things, we have a lot of people around us, a lot of things that's happening around us. But like I said, leadership is always around. The question is, you recognize it. The question is, like I said, we had it around us. We didn't know it was leadership, but constantly, as I said, my grandfather, he was constantly training us. He was constantly having us read the Bible. He was constantly telling a man don't lay in the bed all day. A man go to, he was constantly talking to us, grinding us, teaching us, letting us know these things. So, what I'm saying? It's a daily thing. It's just no one time you see it. It's constantly, it's consistent and being dedicated to it.
So we're gonna talk more about that, Fletcher, because we definitely need to put more meat on the bone into how when you don't see it, as you said, it's there. We just don't see it.
Mhm.
But if it's there, there has to be a way for us to work on so that we can see it because it is there. As a metaphor of your slogan for your YouTube channel, The Blind Truth. Perhaps we're blind and we don't see it, but
Mhm.
because we don't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. As you pointed out, it was there not only from our grandparents, but it was there in that whole community that we grew up in.
Yeah.
Just couldn't we didn't have the right vernacular to explain what it was that we were experiencing and seeing. And somebody who out there who's listening, the reason why I say we're going to have to put more meat on the bone is that I think that we're going to have to make it clear enough for those who are tuning in to start thinking thinking more deeply about what is in front of them that they're not seeing, but to think more deeply that they might can see what they don't now see. But we're gonna go back to that because I wrote something down that I wanted to mention before I went down that street with you on your conversation. And that is, friends, I've been doing a lot of talking about this particular issue here. And I spoke about it once, but it's a recurrent theme in my conversation. So I want to bring it forward here tonight with all of you all, with our community, is that what I am discovering more and more every day of my life, that it takes courage. See, part of being a leader, Fletcher, we talk about it all the time. Whether you're in a relationship, whether you're on a job, you know when it gets really tough and making a decision, having to be the one or somebody to say what needs to be said, but you don't want to say it because you know the ruffles it may cause, the disharmony it may cause, the anger, the resentment. It takes courage to step up to the plate, and that courage means, i.e., leader. It takes leadership to say the things that needs to be spoken, but too afraid to be spoken because nobody want to disrupt the apple cart. You feel what I'm saying, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talk to me.
Man, then I tell stories all the time. Things in my life that I went through. Again, I had good people around me, man. My strong people. But my mom, I'm gonna set the stage. We used to do as a kid. We used to do, the Wiz, the show named the Wiz. They had the Cardi line. They had the Scarecrow. The black version of the Wizard of Oz. And as a kid, we used to do balls, man. I'm talking about big extravagant balls. We could dress up in suits and as kids, we do the two steps and stuff like that. So my mom wanted me to be the cowardly lion. She said, I want you to, because this is you, Keith. I'm telling you, you can do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm the, I was always that kid that's always doing it. And she said, I want you to do this. I know, and we practice it. So come the day of the thing, I'm nervous. I done did this thing so many times, practice, and I'm young. I got my mama made a lion suit for me and everything, man. And perfect. I got the claws, I get out there and I stop and I froze. And the songs were playing and I just could not move. And I'm looking at people sing the song, they clapping, but I'm not moving. And the thing is over. And my mama, my mama put her head down. She say, boy, you gonna regret that. You could have did that. And man, right then, I took the suit off. I'm in the bathroom, I'm mad. I said, I would never let nothing hold me like that ever again. I would let nothing hold me like in prison like that again. You know what I'm saying? And that was, I think the leader was born in me, just not to let no one hold me down like that. No fear, no nothing. So that was the beginning of me. Like you say, to be courageous, have courage, have no fear.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So that was with me I still didn't understand leadership. It was a single me. You know what I'm saying? So as I grew up, I remember my grandmother reinforced it even more. Hey, they put their parents' leg one leg at a time like you do. There's no reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody jumps into their pants. They put their pants leg, ain't no man, you know what I'm saying? Things like that over the time, hearing those things, you know what I'm saying? Telling me these things, reinforcing all these things with me, no matter what. So them the things. But another thing I want to say, that was me. And I always felt that way. So one day I was talking to someone, I'm not gonna say the name, and they was in the military, and they were telling me doing basic training when I was in the military, they'll put you in charge or something. And he said he was so terrified that he threw up, that he did not want to be in charge of nothing. He knew what it took to be a leader, what the cause of how they, so he did not want that position. So some people run from the position, Xtradonaire. Like you said, that courage, they don't want to deal with it. I want to be in the back, tell me what to do, I don't want to do it. But I was that person that I wanted to be in the front. Again, I didn't know it was leadership. I just didn't want to, probably I just didn't want anybody telling me what to do. I don't know that's what it came to. But I felt in my mind that I can do it. You know what I'm saying? And I think it came from, again, being grounded, being coached. You know what I'm saying? Again, my grandfather, man, I'm going to tell you, and it'd be the weirdest people, man. My uncle, his name, your brother Xtradonaire, he was a fearless dude too. And I grew up around him at the house with him, man. But he made me fearless. It just made me courageous and fearless too about things, And like I say, people in my life, the men in my life came and guided me through a lot of things. And on the way, other people came and put something in me. But what I'm saying is, when someone sees a leader and it's leading you, you'll recognize another leader. Like you say, on the street, they say game recognize game. I used to hear that. So when you're a leader and you recognize, you can see another leader for it. You can see the qualities. You know what I'm saying? Like success leaves clues. It's the same thing as a leader. You have clues to show that this is a leader. You know what I'm saying? People are born. So if you've been there, it's no surprise. And you see somebody that are great leaders. They've been tutored. They've been seeing that they've been around something to make them be like that. Yes, that's it.
Man, this topic is really rich with a lot of history that you and I both can rely on to talk about. And I'm wondering right now, anyone who's tuning in, what is it in your life, or what is it about your background? What is it with you that you can pull from and realize, hey, this is where I got this leadership moment in my life? Because we all get that moment. See, because leadership, it comes at different time and different opportunity and different situation in our life. Sometimes leadership can grow from an experience that we may have considered was a failing point, a disappointment part of your life. Like Fletcher just explained about not following through on a recital part that he had prepared for and knew it. But because of fear, he allowed fear to keep him from going forth. Now, he's not solo in his life like that because fear has stopped us in so many different areas in our life. But every now and then, friends, there comes a time when we stand up to fear in certain part of our life. There's certain areas in your life. I know I'm hitting on somebody. There's certain part in your life you say, oh no, I'm not bagging down on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't giving up that one, Fletcher. I'm gonna fight. We're gonna fight. We're gonna have to just dance on that one right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a leader being born. See, and this is one of the keys in life, friends. Wherever that key is being born, that's the one we need to nurture more and more of instead of retreating. Selena, Ladiana, why don't you all share some of your comments, some comments in the chat room of your past experience or maybe your current experience and now. So, Fletcher, I love it when you talked about that story. And all throughout this conversation, friends, what you're gonna find out is this common word throughout our life experience. No matter what, it still take courage.
Mm-hmm.
It just take courage, man. It does. And we're gonna dive. We're gonna unwrap this gift
Yeah.
one way or the other. This present will get unwrapped. But anyway, I push back. I pull him back. Fletcher, won't you come on back in here, man, and talk to us some more before we take a commercial?
What Eric Thomas talking about is different levels of leadership too, different level of people to lead. Like you said, the zeros. You got zeros, you got five, you got 10, like what I'm saying. You learn that in my time. I learned that what I'm saying in zero. You'll find people that's weaker than you. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember one of my friends that when I moved to Texas, and all of them went, like most of them went to jail. And we reunited, and I was like, man, damn, all y'all went to jail. And I remember him saying, like, well, you was the smarter of the bunch. And I was like, man, y'all must have been dumb as hell then. You know what I'm saying? If I was smarter. But, I was like, because I was, look back at it, I wasn't that bright either. But, I look back at it. But, again, being around the ones that was, and then I was strong enough to guide people, like situations I got in. But what I learned over time about leadership, like you were saying about a fight. Let's just say you got a group and fighting. And the first thing, a leader don't want to fight first. A leader want to resolve things before, because somebody can get hurt. Somebody can lose you know what I'm saying? You can lose yourself. The leader thinks about his community, thinks about his friends, think about his people before he goes and do something. You know what I'm saying? You leave.
That's well said, man.
Yeah. So over the time, again, these things that I learned before, when you're young and I was a child, I did childish things. I didn't take, take them for granted. So I remember one time I came back home and all the young people younger than me, used to be around us, and they was talking about how we used to, fight and get in stuff, and they was under us and leading the way. And I remember they said it was, giving us credit for helping them. And I told them, I say, nah, man, we did y'all this service. They're like, what you mean, man? I said, nah, we should have been doing something more proactive than fighting and going out there doing hustling and doing stuff, running women. We should have been doing something else, lifting you up, finding something, a better purpose for you. We didn't lead y'all the right way, man. We didn't lead y'all. We could have done better by y'all. We basically failed y'all because look where you still at. Look at your life. You know what I'm saying? We could have played a role better than that. But like I said, you don't know. But as I grew, as you, Sean, and I know we got to go to break. You went to college and you became a part of a fraternity. When you came a part of that fraternity, you had to be around men, you know what I'm saying? You had to be around all kind of different groups of people, you know what I'm saying? And you had to help them through, These ain't no zeros. These young men that got to college decided to take a pledge and start to work together now. It's a different level than street thugs, the different level to educate, you know what I'm saying? These people, and they got rules and regulations in this type of leadership. You see what I'm saying? That you got to abide by and follow. See, that's a different type of leadership then.
Yeah.
type of person that got to step up and say, brothers, I'm here, and we're gonna go together. So, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna make it through. You know what I'm saying? Together.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's all kind of like, I understand when he's saying it's zeros, 5, 10,
Yeah.
up to 10 types of leaders and type of people that you're gonna lead too. So those things make a difference also.
Hey, folks, if y'all enjoying the show, please take a few moments and subscribe. Leave us a comment and hit like. Fletcher and I, we were really appreciated. If you leave us a comment, whether it be a question, we will answer each and every one of them. And at this time, friends, I'm so happy to share with all of you all. Ladiana left a dynamite text here that we're going to share with you. She says, if you stand on nothing, you'll fall for anything. Lesson learned. Zero tolerance sometimes is completely necessary, period. And man, that's a powerful statement. Fletch, you want to add some meat to what she just heard?
And see, when you have that, and she right about that, but can you stand by that? Because when you do zero tolerance, everybody not gonna like you. You know what I mean? Xtradonaire talk about that bad guy.
Yeah.
When you that had that zero tolerance, and just because you see it, them other people don't see it, and you standing on it, and they don't. So that zero tolerance sometimes goes the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? And it take a leader to know that and how to bring it in and play with that. Because sometimes you can see something in one way. Let me show you an example. I remember I got out the military, and I went to work for this clothing store. I was a assistant manager, and I got promoted to the store manager. My manager was training with me, and I was telling her I had a meeting. I'm telling her, I said, look here, I'm telling you this right now. I expect you to be here on time. I don't care about no mama, sister, brother. You better be here. Ain't nothing better stop you, but you better show up. And if you don't show up, you're gonna be rolled up. I'm like that, and I'm standing on. You see what I'm saying? I'm standing on mine. After the meeting, my manager pulled me over. She said, you ain't gonna have nobody working there, Keith. I said, what? She said, you're not in the military no more. It's life. People are different. Things in life happen. You're gonna have to give some leeway. Everything. You can't stand on that because things gonna happen. You won't have nobody here. You have people stealing from you. You got to build a family. This is like a family environment. So you got to find another way. It doesn't work the way in the military. And again, I had to change that standing on. So it's different type of way to lead. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, you got to read the room. And that's another thing, a part of leadership. Sometimes you got to read the room. You know what I'm saying? How does it benefit the whole group of people, not just you?
Man, that was beautifully said, brother. That was perfectly said. But look, friends, don't go anywhere, because if you think part one was good, we're about to set the place on fire. We're gonna take it to another level, to a much higher level, friends, because we're really gonna bring the house down in part two. So you don't want to go anywhere. So we're gonna take a short break. Don't go anywhere. Do us a small favor during this break, however. Make sure you text someone and tell them y'all need to tune in to the world premiere, Word on the Streets. And we'll see y'all back in a couple of minutes.
If you or someone you know needs to change their financial situation, but feels embarrassed or simply doesn't know where to begin, tune in to The Blind Truth. The amazing Keith Fletcher breaks it all down, from sacrifice to success, turning opportunity into legacy. Because the real truth is this: you're not broke, you're funding bad habits. If you're looking for a safe place to learn, grow, and finally get your finances in order, subscribe to The Blind Truth. And remember what the amazing Keith Fletcher always says: gotta get your mind right. Start today. Your future is waiting on you. If you're tired of drifting from day to day and finally ready to live an intentional life, subscribe to Larry Xtradonaire Moton's Personal Development for the Soul. And while you're there, grab the popular playlist, The Mastery of Today, From Drifting to Living, featuring his #1 hit single, when you're gonna stop. And remember, Xtra's motto, you only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough.
All right, family. Now it's time to go deeper. This is the moment where we peel back the layers, challenge old thinking, and get real about what's truly holding us back and what can finally push us forward. So grab your journals, lean in, and don't just listen, engage. And if something resonates with you tonight, do us a favor, subscribe, like, and share this message with someone who needs it, because the conversation we're having is bigger than us. This is the world premiere word on the streets.
So you have to make a decision if you're going to be a leader or not. But understand what a leader is, though. Sometimes you just really want to be the leader of your own life. See, you don't have to lead a world leader. I have no aspirations of being Martin Luther King. I have no aspirations of being Gandhi. None whatsoever. I had really no aspirations of being the leader that I've become today. That I got young men listening to me that I wasn't even really counting on. I got dudes emailing me, man, running up to me, man, at Essence. This brother ran up to me and Terrence was stopping him from talking to me. And the big brother, about 300 some pounds, sweating, had a chef coat on down in New Orleans, had been listening to me on the radio since 2005. Did his 5 years, got out the joint, started studying in prison food prep, because he said, man, you told me one morning you ain't gotta sit there and do nothing. You can better yourself from behind the wall and make one plan on not to come back. He said, you changed my whole life. He said, I come to tell you, man, I'm the chef right now at the Hilton. You know, I don't want to be a cat that when I die, ain't nobody tripped. Church empty. Ain't nothing right here, because, you know, it's two things, you know, when a person dies on their tombstone. There's a birth date, there's a dash, and then there's a date of your demise. And let me tell you something. When you die, they're not going to talk about your birthday. They're not going to talk about the day you died. The biggest conversation will be about that dash, that little dash. That's the life you lived in the middle of that date of birth and the date of demise. That dash will determine who you are.
All right, family, keep those comments coming. We love hearing from you, and we appreciate you in a very special way. Now, let's get back into part 2 of the world premiere Word on the Streets.
We told you part 2 was going to be hot, dude. We told you it was going to be hot. That intro we just shared with you all, that was some real talk. Because you see, leadership comes in many different forms and personality. Just like Fletcher just said, we don't want you to get the wrong impression about being a leader. It's personality. It's having the ability to lead forward. It also has the ability to fall back. It's the ability to have grace. It's the ability to listen. And here's a subject matter we didn't touch on the first half. Leadership is also the ability to follow. Yeah, that's right. Now, you may think that's contradicting each other. Man, you said lead. Well, in order to lead, you have to be a good follower. And see, while you following, friends, you can be gaining information. You can be gaining knowledge. See, while I'm following you, Fletcher, I can figure out, man, how he get the courage to talk so bodacious like that. I can learn where that came from. While I'm following you, my brother, I can learn how to improve my finance. You see, we all have something that others are watching. Just like my man just said, he would go on the radio live. He just doing his thing. He didn't know somewhere down in another part of the country, there was a man locked up in prison, heard him say, it doesn't matter where you are. It don't matter what situation you in. And this is what we're saying. You see, somebody is watching you right now. And you may be in your mind, in your situation, you might be struggling. How you handling that struggle? How you handling that? It's easy to look real good when you on top. It's easy to look good when you Steph Curry scoring 30. Steph Curry have some off night when he not scoring 30. But he still got to show up that next game and be willing to take that shot again. The one he just missed 7 in a row, they want him to shoot that ball again. And I'm gonna go back to that word, what I say you can't get away from. Guess what? Steph Curry have to have courage, Fletcher, to shoot it again. And when you go home to your significant other, to your lover, to your friend, on your job, you see something that you know, man, this is just wrong. But I don't want to say nothing because I want to keep the peace. I don't want to start no trouble. It takes courage. It takes a lot of courage to be that one. But we're gonna dive into it, friends. We're gonna dive into it. I'm coming off a high from listening to that commercial, and
Yeah,
hopefully you're on a high too. What say you, Fletcher?
yeah, I'm on a high, man. Yeah, I'm on a very high. I just like to say, Michelle, like Steve Harvey say, he ain't never been to jail. He ain't never been in a situation like the guy was in, but he helped him through that. He gave him a belief, a belonging. He said that you can. You know what I'm saying? He made no excuses, and he heard that, and it moved him. You know what I'm saying? So we on here right now taking ownership, trying to help someone by giving our story, telling our story, what we believe, what we went through, so you don't have to go through you know what I'm saying, what you going through, just to give you, inspire you to move. So with me, we talking about leadership, man. Again, I done met people, like you said, I done had my grandfather, grandmother, great grandfather, uncles, great uncles. I done had all kind of men around me, pastors, and man, so many people, teachers. My mom was a teacher, so she had a teacher, man. Just all military guys around me all my life. You know what I'm saying? And in my time, I done had friends that had no men around them, had no guidance, been in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Just going through stuff. Can't stand his brother. Don't know his dad. His mom. Just multiple things that's going through life that you say you can meet them guys and say, you know what, man, I can show you another way. No, man, we don't do it that way here. We do it like this. We men, you know what I'm saying? And when I went into the military, and I blossomed in the military. I had a childlike mind, but as a soldier, I was great. As a soldier, I could lead men, you know what I'm saying, get men to do what I want to do. It was just natural. But my personal life was to just toe up. You know what I'm saying? I didn't, I look back at it now, I took it for granted. I was just blowing in the wind. But when I worked as a manager, when I worked at stores, I was a manager, I blossomed at things like that. But I just couldn't get my personal life in order. And I think what it was, I didn't want to take ownership in my personal life. I think I was so scared of making mistakes. I didn't want the ownership. I didn't want none of that. I just want to say, hey, I'm providing, I'm doing this. I didn't want to do the other things, all the things that it took. And I wonder why it failed. And it took me a long time to learn to learn how to lead a family. You know what I'm saying? To learn how to lead my wife and my children, to have a vision. Because think about it, if I'm in the military or in college or something, they have a track for you. You know what I'm saying? You go E1, E2, E3, E4, then E5, you tell you what you have to do to become E6. You got a track. But when you married and you got a family, there's no books. Well, you got books, but I decided not to read books. I'm not reading no marriage. I ain't been taught, I don't really know what a marriage. I ain't seen a really stable marriage. My grandfather was older. My uncles never was married, but back then they didn't talk to you. So marriage is a whole nother level of leadership for me. And I was failing daily at it. Failing daily at being a father, daily. But I can say I can go on a job. I can go and be amongst men. I'm a leader, a man among men, a leader amongst men. I'm doing well with that. People ready to follow me. but my household, I was failing. And it bothered me, Extraordinaire. That part right there bothered me that I couldn't get it right. But I'm gonna tell you, I had to seek. Like I said, I had to go to counseling. I had to find a way. And that's what a leader do. A leader fails all the time. But a leader get up and find a way. Leader get up and find a way how to overcome these things. How to I get better. That's what a leader does. I'm telling you, leader fail all the time. In the military, I went to PLDC, non-commissioned. I was at non-commissioned school that taught you how to lead men, lead soldiers, doing all kind of stressful times. And I did well in that. Matter of fact, I remember they put me in charge of the whole thing, and I did well at that. You know what I'm saying? Military, I was great. But when it came to leading my family, I could not. And I remember I saw this couple, and they to this day, and I recognized what they had. And that would change me. I said, man, that's what I want. So it's possible. That could be possible. I can be better. I can, you know what I'm saying? So doing that and start going to council, start reading, and I started becoming a better husband, a better father, better, you know what I'm saying? Better thing. And I start, like I said, having a vision. See, again, in the military, college, they had steps. Now I start having a vision. I start setting up goals where I want to go, how I should be, how this going to be, what we're going to have. I start saying those things and start setting in place and start doing it. And the vision, sometimes my family didn't see it. And see, a leader recognized he has the vision. And then you start realizing when they're not following, that means that the vision not clear. It's not plain. Instead of getting frustrated, I had to find a better way to present my vision. I had to find a better way to deploy what I'm saying to my group. So fast forward now, I'm online talking to people. This a whole nother level of leadership. Like you said, this the 10, this another level of getting here, talking to people, trying to get them to realize what we're doing. Like you say, you get frustrated, you start realizing, again, I'm back at that point, I'm not making it clear. I don't point the finger at them, I point at myself. I look in the mirror, I need to read, I need to study how I can become a better leader.
Yeah.
Now I'm at level 10 now. So before I was 0, now I'm at level 10. And the reason
I like that, man. I like that. How can I say it clearer?
Let me say, and what I mean by clearer, like now, I volunteer to be on here now. Before, I'm just going through, I volunteer to be married. I volunteer to be on here talking to people. I did it. I chose this. You know what I'm saying? So I owe it to them. I owe it to you. I owe it to people that's watching to make it clear, to make it better, to get better. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I strive for every day, to be that leader. Now you want to, how can I get better? How can I present this better? Not where they're not getting it. Why they not understanding it? Why they won't? No, it's me. How can I get better?
That was some golden nuggets right there, friends. I hope y'all was taking notes. And I want to add to that. In listening to Fletcher, here is something very important, friends. Write this down because it's going to help you. I promise you it will. Bad information will prevent leadership. Wrong information will stop you from growing and becoming the leader you were meant to be or you striving to be. Just think about it, what he said in his conversation. And in most men conversation in our era, but not just in our era, even here today, when you get bad advice, wrong advice, and you do that advice, which was wrong, which was bad, the situation generally gets worse. It doesn't improve. You don't improve. And one thing about it, there's no shortage of relationship advice from people who are not qualified to give advice. Oftentimes, people who are already having a bad relationship situation are the first one to give someone else advice. And the advice usually what I wouldn't do, what I wouldn't take. And none of that has a spirit of communication. It's always from a posture of things what they wouldn't do and what they wouldn't take. And the reason for that is because of ego. And the reason for that ego is because when we don't know, we are very fragile. We are embarrassed over what we don't know. And we don't want people to find out just how fragile we are on the inside. So I told you somebody need to write that down. But now when we move forward, good information, we're talking about leadership. See, leadership, remember we said in part one of this conversation that it comes in many forms, many different situations. So leadership surround themselves around better quality of people. When you have conflict, a person that got that leadership seed inside them, Fletcher, you said it. You're not looking for how can I escalate this thing, because a leadership is thinking more than just themselves.
Yeah.
See, when it's all about you, you just gonna deal with it no matter what. But it's seldom in life it's just about you. You see, we're all connected. You got a son, a daughter, a cousin, a nephew. You got somebody else that your wrong decision may have an effect on. Y'all feel me?
Yep. And that's a
So
leader.
it's not just about you, even though your emotions is all about you and your emotion can trap you. Now, depending on who you surround yourself with, if you surround yourself with those people, I wouldn't take that, I wouldn't put up with that, then you may react on your emotion. You just might react on your emotions. But then there are another set of people. And a good leader, they don't know which way to go, but they got something inside of them saying, well, I done did it that way a few times and I ain't getting no better.
Ain't working.
It ain't working. So I want to try it a different way. Oh man, I wrote some notes, man, because when you was talking, it was you was feeding me, brother. Select the right crowd. When it's time to stop. But see, at the same time, you have to know when it's time to start. See, it's always this balance. And a leader know that there is a constant balance that we're seeking to move forward in life. And as you said, Fletcher, as Dr. Eric Thomas said in the beginning, we're becoming. And as we become, we're always seeking balance. And it takes courage to get to that balance. But I'm gonna put a pin right there and read a comment that over it's in the chat room. And Fletcher, won't you come on back in here while I try to find this comment?
See, so now, when you becoming, people like you say, you got to look at your life and look at about the five friends that you're around and see why you are. When you start becoming and growing and searching, you start separating yourself. It's just natural that because you're trying to go somewhere. And when you're trying to go somewhere, most likely those people that's not ready, not that you smarter than them, that you chose a way and you want them to come, but they're not ready to come. And that's when you got to go along. That's when you got to go and keep feeding yourself, or you'll be left there in that with them. And that's what I had to do many times. I had to learn how to be alone. I had to learn how to be by myself. That was my mission when I said all the time to get up at 3:45 in the morning, learning how to be to myself, learning how to get understanding to myself, to reach down deep into my spirit and my soul, whatever you want to call it, and start working on myself. So other leader, you know what I'm saying? So when I start pouring things, I start working on myself, getting those things, bad things out of my head, and start pouring good things in, and start living and believing and start when you start living it, you start talking about it all the time. And the people that you been around, they've been hearing, they don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? They want to hear the old Keith. Man, you already talking about this money and talking about that and talking about getting better and talking personal development. Yeah, that's what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? And most likely, those people that you've been around, they're going to eventually leave you. But what else happen? Whatever you looking for is looking for you. And them other eagles will find you. You know what I'm saying? And be that one that can help you get to the next level. But it's levels. Like you said, from 0 to 10 is levels. But I'm telling you, When you start growing, the hardest part is separating yourself, listening to them people that's been saying it, and get to a point that you can't even stand to hear what they saying. They on something else, and that's when you start growing. That's a sign that you are growing. Not that you better than them. You know what I'm saying? People want to say you get uppity. No, I'm growing. I'm getting better. I shouldn't be the same as I was last year. I shouldn't be the same as I was 5 or 10 years ago. I should be different. So that's what it's about there. That's a leader.
That's good stuff, brother. And that Ladiano said accountability.
Yeah.
And that's all good. And we're going to drive down the road because we want to make it abundantly clear to anyone who out there listening to us right now. Don't cut yourself short, friends.
Mhm.
Don't cut yourself short. You're dealing with some things right now that you probably was unable to deal with 20 years ago. Somebody who tuned in right now probably trying to pay your mortgage, take care of your family, still keep a smile on your face, and 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 you're doing it day by day. That's part of it. That's part of it, friends. Leadership isn't always friendly. It's not always beautiful. What I really want to say, the picture isn't always beautiful. But to take your coin to Fletcher, it's not always ugly either. Sometimes we could get so wrapped up in our thoughts, in our mind, and we can end up focusing on all the things that went wrong, all the things that didn't happen. All we get caught up in a trap of why things may not work out because we remember what happened the last time. But there's a seed inside of every one of us that hope for something better. Now, here's the deal. Do you have the courage to make that hope, to apply that hope? Because hope it's not going to grow just out of you automatically. It's the thing that we have to put forth. We have to take the effort. We have to move the pendulum. See, this is one used to be one of my biggest frustration with a lot of people who not used to, but overuse the word about their faith of just saying I believe. And I've worked on myself about that, but the conversation is still fair for me to analyze that because I work on me in stretching do I in stretching that belief into application, applying. See, it's an action word. If that seed, I believe it, what action am I taking? Or am I being comfortable in using what God gonna do and let God? Well, yeah. See that I have a hard time getting caught up in that trap, and which is why I'm speaking to you all from the sense that I don't want you either to get caught up in the trap of not doing the things you can do. What can you do? You 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 have a desire. What action can you take to work on that desire that you have? It takes courage. You got that. It takes leadership. You have that. But how can you activate courage? How can you activate leadership? How can you activate the things that you already have? Action. And I have to, friend, we sometimes, Fletcher, we get caught up with praying. Man, I pray. But what action? Now, when you've done it, sometimes you just fail, and then by the grace and mercy, things fall together and happen for you. And that's wonderful. What action and steps can you take in the meantime? Talk to me, brother.
Man, I'm glad you spoke on that. I wanted to the part say leadership is lead. You got to lead the way. Now, prepare. To be a great leader, you prepare. You know what I'm saying? You prepare yourself for any situation, and you might fail. You might not work out the way, but you prepare the best as you can. You know what I'm saying? You leave and you believe it's strong and you collab, you do all these things, but you leave. It's just like me. I get on here and talk about finance. I get on here and tell you your credit this, talk about credit and what you should do, align yourself 75, 15. I do all these things, but if I'm not leading that way, I'm not doing those things. You come out and find out you want to follow me, then you find out like I'm in debt. You come out fine. I got car notes, all these. I'm telling people, don't waste your money. Cause I got student loans that I'm not being responsible. I'm not being intentional. Okay, how much power? Who want to follow me? How can I lead someone? Because they see, they hear, they touch. I'm prepared. Now I can do like my kids. They see, hear, and touch. I just told you, my grandfather. All these years later, things my grandmother said to me, and they carry themselves. Those things hold true to this day. So now, if I want to believe, so the first thing I do is how I lead. It's about leading myself right, acting a certain way, being a certain way, and that's a daily. So that's it. That's a daily work on me, looking in that mirror and doing these things. I got a call from my mortgage company today, and I talked to the guy, and the guy said, well, I want to check something and check your credit, see if I can offer you something and we can help you. And the guy got on the phone, and I was like, he came back, he said, man, well, you know what your credit score is? I said, yeah, I ain't looked at it in a while, pretty much. I put a cap out. He said, well, man, and then he said, well, man, you don't owe nobody nothing. I want to offer you something, but I said, no, I'm good. So again, me speaking this online, I'm talking about money. Then they call me, my mortgage company call me, and I call me, they can't help me. They saying this to me. I'm saying it's a testimony for me. I got to lead the way. I got to lead my kids. I'm telling my kids, well, hey, put some money back, do this, do that, but I'm not doing it. That's the first see, hear, touch. They see me. I got to be the first one leading the way. Now, when I start speaking and being a leader, now they see that. That's the first example of it. Examples. I gave you an example again. My grandfather gave me an example again. The couple that I saw, they started showing me examples of how a wife and husband should be. It was first seeing it. Then I started hearing how they were talking to each other. Then I got to be around them and touch it and be like, man, this is real. The touch was like all that up before, but to touch it and be around, it's real. So I can have a marriage. I can have a happy marriage. I can be this type of husband. I can be this type of father. I can. So that's it right there. We can talk all day on this line. I can sit there and tell people, come on, yeah, do this, and do that. And I'm not doing it. And that day they see me and they was spotted, ready to follow me. And then they get behind that curtain and see he was a liar. All bets are off then. All bets are off. So again, that's what I work on with me. You know what I'm saying? Being that person to lead and try to prepare. And like you said, I don't deal with hope. I don't deal, like I said, for me, my blessing is, people say I'm blessed. We all blessed. We woke up this morning. The reason we woke up this morning, that means that we have the capability, all of us, we got the same time, 24 hours to do what we need to do. The question is, what are you willing to do in them 24 hours? Now, what do you, like I tell my kids, that be, do, have. I stay on that, be fruitful, do, multiply, have dominion. You got 24 hours to become be valuable. Believe in yourself, be valuable. I'm sorry. You got 24 hours to be valuable. To be valuable, that means that you can solve somebody else's problem. Be valuable. Believe. He gave you time to be there. Do multiply. How to multiply. You got the time to learn how to multiply. You in that time, you spend the time searching to be multiplied. Then have dominion. You have dominion of your marriage. You have dominion of your children. You have dominion of your finances. You have dominion of your mental. You have dominion on everything. And then if it doesn't work, I start it all over again. Because like I tell my kids, it's rain on the just and the unjust. The question is, what are you doing in that rain? What is the ant doing? In the summertime, the ant thinking about winter. In the wintertime, he's thinking about summer. That's what you allow. If he woke you up this morning, you have the ability to become anything, but are you aware of the opportunity? Are you working on your leadership skill? Are you preparing yourself for the rain? That's it.
And Selena says, and doing so is going to make them want to achieve the next level as well.
Yeah, showing them that they can. You know, you sit here and talk to people. Like I got to tell, I was told, like college. I would say, my mother went to college. My family, a lot of people in my family go to college. And I'm telling my wife, well, she said, well, if you've never been to college, it's the same thing. I say, no, you have to be the experience to have an understanding. You have to go to understand this. You know what I'm saying? You have to go to experience. You just looking at TV, the Cosby Show is different than going. So experience something, take to touch it. You can hear it, see it, but you got to go touch it. And that's that action. That's that being intentional. That's that action and go on, be there. That's what it takes right there.
Man, I love it. Before we get off the air, friends, Fletcher, he always doesn't he cook some good food in that kitchen, folks? Don't that brother cook some good food? I enjoy hearing his conversation. Good talk, Fletcher. Good talk, my brother.
Nah, man.
You see,
Nah,
you see, huh?
I appreciate that, Jordan. But as you know, just on the father tip, me and you both, man, being a father is hard. You know what I'm saying? Being that father, even the parent, have a successor to pass things on to your children, especially young men. You know what I'm saying? And we talk about being that leader. And sometimes the leader got to be that bad guy. Sometimes the leader that, again, they don't see the big picture. You see it. You see the vision. And sometimes it don't take no explaining. You know what I'm saying? I got to go ahead. This is what it is. And you sometimes, like my grandma used to tell me all the time, man, you're going to learn by and by. Sometimes you just can't explain. Sometimes, like that's the end you're growing, like, I ain't got time to explain. You'll see by and by. You'll understand later, but this is what I need you to do. You know what I'm saying? So it takes leadership with those things too. And we talk about that all the time. Sometimes you got to be the bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but that take courage too, though, Fletcher.
Yeah,
That take a lot of courage, man.
ownership and courage take a lot of that, man. It does.
Uh, hey, friends, we're getting ready to come to the close. In Fletcher conversation, he did a lot of talk, and he didn't want to sugarcoat it, and he doesn't, because it take what it takes. It take courage, and what we want to do more importantly than anything else, because we understand what the industry has done to our way of thinking. You see, the industry have cloud our minds so much so until certain words automatically turns us off. The word discipline, that's a turn off word. And we realize that, see, certain words automatically is a preventative word to prevent you from becoming. Change, that's a preventative word. Change is a good word, but it also is a preventative word. Now, I'm not saying not from my perspective. I'm telling you what the industry has done. Willing, action, all of those are good. Those are good words. What if we was taught that, man, it's exciting, we're going to make a change? But we didn't grow up in that kind of environment in America. Change was, America have always moved the pendulum forward through fear. And we have always grown to overcome fear in almost every aspect of our life. Y'all need to think about that. So we're constantly having this dance, this battle with fear. Fear about almost everything we want to do. But there's also something inside of us that society didn't bank on. That every person was born with a seed of hope. And that hope always had that question mark to deal with the fear. What if? Fletcher, you said all the time, but what if? Okay, all right, I know. I done the fear thing, and I'm still there. What if I face the fear? You see, that what if is that seed of leadership that causes us to rise and cross over. Are you feeling me?
Yeah.
Look, friends. We're going to stop there. We thank y'all so much for tuning in. This is some good talk. I ain't going to lie to you. I
Yeah.
ain't going to lie to nobody. That's some good stuff.
And now you're going out, like you said, you're right about that. To be a leader, you got to be fearless. You got to be fearless, man. And
That's
what
right, brother. That's
gotta
right.
be. That's another thing you're saying. To be fearless, man, and conquer your fears. And you're gonna make some mistakes, but being
You're going
fearless,
to have to face fear sooner or later.
yeah. And then I'm gonna say, no, we didn't talk about it. Xtradonaire said it. To be a leader, you have to be a follower too. Sometimes you got to follow somebody to learn. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of things I think we go wrong
Glad you
too.
said.
Especially in our community, we don't follow enough to start receiving. Like somebody knows something that we can tool each other them and follow and humble ourselves and listen. Well, this is the way I've been doing it, and you look at you've been doing it that way, but ain't no change. See, change again.
Yeah.
You're a leader, man. To face that change. Change is fear. It's fear too. It's hard to change.
Yeah.
That's another leadership quality.
That's right.
Yes. Change the way you
Man,
do things.
before we get off, we need to talk about that, brother.
Yeah, man, that's real.
Mention that following thing,
Get to
because
that. Get to that. I'm sorry.
yeah, man, you hit it, brother. That's what I'm saying. You see, being a follower, don't let that bruise your ego
Yeah.
that you can't learn from someone else
Yeah.
and seeing been stopping your progress. But go on, man. I need to say that.
Nah, go ahead. Nah, like I said, that's it. Don't like when you go to college. What you do? You go. They have you study. You're not there yet. They'll put you in an intern, and you follow somebody and learn a better way. So we need to work on that. Following. Oh, this is my way out. No, you got to learn. It's all kind of different ways, and you got to humble yourself to be able to receive that and understand that, man. Because that would help me out a lot. Sometimes when I got in construction, I didn't know nothing, man. I just followed. I used to bring guys over.
You followed and you learned a lot.
I didn't act like I knew everything. I listened, you know what I'm saying, and followed and wrote down and went over. So that's it, man. And I just want to tell people, read. I tell my kids now, man, reading is so important, man. Just read and learn stuff. It's so simple now. And my problem was me. I became a better leader when I started reading. I became better reader when I started researching, not just talking outside. Like you said, most people get frustrated because they just don't know. When you start really reading, start analyzing, looking at things and stuff, and learning a different way, realize it's all kind of ways you just didn't know. You know what I'm saying? That's what was hurting you. You just don't know. Are you willing? Like you said, are you willing to go know? Are you willing to find out? And that's what it is. Sometimes we're not willing, and we, like I said, that word truth in my name, blind truth. Sometimes we don't want the truth and we can't handle the truth. But you got to be a willing participant to it. That's it.
You all feel our passion. Our passion, it bursts through the screen because we wake up excited about what the day may bring. The day is going to always bring something to you that's good. Look for the good, friends. We've enjoyed our conversation with everyone tonight, talking about leadership. And once again, friends, we ask that y'all give us an opportunity and subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
World premiere Word on the Streets. And make sure to leave us a comment. Let us know what you like about the show, what topics you want us to cover on the show. Or just say, hey, what's up, Fletcher? What's up, Extra? Just let us hear from you all. LaDiana, Selena, we love you all. Appreciate y'all for supporting us.
Yeah.
Can't thank y'all enough. Fletcher and I, we're going to ride out of here. And until next time, y'all take care. We love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yes.
Fletcher, great show, man.
You also, man. Thank you, man.
You were spitting out some nuggets tonight, brother. Thank you very much.
Hey, we both give. Hey, and let's say, we learn this as we doing this. We growing too. You're making us stronger. Iron sharpen iron. Thanks, Jordan. Thank y'all.
Good night, everybody.
And that wraps up another powerful episode of World Premiere Word on the Streets. We're live every Thursday evening at 7:30 Central Standard Time, and we'd love to have you join us again. So take a moment to subscribe, tap that like button, and become part of this growing community. Until next time, guard your thoughts, speak only what you truly want to experience, and stay laser focused on what matters. Your words shape your world, and your mindset fuels your mission. We'll see you again. Same time, same place. Right here on world premiere Word on the Streets, where truth meets transformation. Stay strong, stay grounded, and as always, stay true.